NC State wins 5 games in 5 days. The first double-digit seed to win the ACC tournament. Their first ACC tournament title in 37 years. Upsetting the top seed North Carolina, 84-76. 2 DJs mix it up in our nation's capital as DJ Burns and DJ Horn combined for 49 points. I mean, they almost dropped 50, and they dropped North Carolina as they earn the auto bid in the ACC. Back here with CBS Sports basketball analyst Tim Doyle. How do you explain what NC State did? 5 wins in 5 days. Not a chance to get in the tournament, and now they're in.
Well, I mean, just a remarkable run. And, yeah, they got, a lucky shot. Michael O'Connell bank against UVA, and then all of a sudden house money. And they dominated North Carolina. And if you've watched North Carolina this year, you know this with R.J. Davis, Armando Bacot. They could be a team cutting down the nets at the end of the day. And throughout this 40 minutes in the ACC championship game, it wasn't even close. It was DJ. Go, DJ. Here's my DJ. It's what Lil Wayne said, and both the DJs were awesome. Horn was good. Burns was even better. What a complimentary figure for one another. Inside, outside play. North Carolina, it doesn't matter, right? They're going to the tournament.
Yep.
1 seed, 2 seed, right? They're going to be pretty close on those lines. And I think they're going to be a really difficult out. As for NC State, if they didn't win this,
they're a bid thief.
They would not have made the NCAA tournament. So this is why we watch this time of year.
I feel like we should put on pirate hats and go, "Arr," because they're bid thief for NC State. I mean, that's what they are, the Wolfpack, an absolute bid thief. They were not getting, no chance getting in. They get a gift against Virginia, and then they come out with this inspired effort against North Carolina, because if North Carolina wins this game, Tim, they are a lock for the final #1 seed. There's questions going in. Some people will still tell you, hey, they're still a #1 seed. But, when you leave it to the committee and say, well, I lost the conference title game, whatever, it matters to some people it does not. For NC State, as you take a look at what they did in the last 5 days, this is incredible. This reminds us, Oregon State made a run a couple years ago under Wayne Tinkle. We saw UConn. We were talking about them in 2011. They needed 5 wins in 5 days to get in the tournament. That's what NC State does. Kevin Keatts. Shout out to Kevin Keatts.
Totally. And look who they beat. Yeah. I mean, they beat the creme de la creme of the ACC over the last 40 years. I mean, they beat North Carolina, they beat Duke, and then they beat Virginia. I mean, look what Tony Bennett's done. He's won a national championship. I mean, year in, year out, there's a really tough team. I mean, probably one of the greatest storylines in the history of the ACC conference and one of the greatest storylines in the history of conference basketball play. So congratulations to NC State. They're a team that figured it out. I think that the recipe in the tournament is going to be chemistry and experience. And this team just happened to all come together later in the year. A guy like Michael O'Connell, a transfer from Stanford, was only going there to play his 5th year. I believe he ended up being the glue to this team. Coming into this tournament, Hakeem, he only had 3 double-digit games this entire season. And what does he go out and do? First 4 games of the ACC tournament, double digits in every one of those games. Now, how do I know so much about Michael O'Connell? He grew up idolizing me, neighborhood guy. So I've been following his career ever since he was a kid. And, I wasn't really sure how he was going to fit in at NC State. Wasn't really sure he made the best move. But, wow, he had great support from Horn. Burns is an amazing talent. I think Burns could end up being a darling of this NCAA tournament because he's got that big old behind. He's got that left hand, that soft touch. He's fun to watch. This team, I think, could be really dangerous because they seem to be getting better as the season wore on.
DJs can dance too. Shouts to whoever made that graphic. That was well done as they combine for 49. Yeah, DJ Burns is a problem. He's a big body, 6'9", 275. You saw him become a problem for a veteran like Armando Bacot. When you look at North Carolina, aside from this game and the loss, what's your evaluation of this North Carolina roster as we head into Selection Sunday?
I think that they could cut down the nets when it's all said and done. Conference tournaments, they don't matter. Look how many teams lost. Houston got embarrassed. Doesn't matter. Purdue lost. I mean, so many squads. You go through our lost because it didn't matter to them. I think this is the hardest thing to handicap who is motivated. I don't know. because at the end of the day, the only tournament that counts is the one that gets selected on Selection Sunday, and obviously the big dance in March. So this game mattered to NC State, and honestly, over the course of 40 minutes, it was just so obvious. They just wanted it more because it was now or never. They don't win this game, there's no NCAA tournament. So this is why we watch. As for North Carolina, there is absolutely no need to panic. R.J. Davis is an elite-level scorer. They went to Duke recently. Cormac Ryan had a career game. They could spread the floor. They have inside play. I don't want to say they have no weakness, but they're one of those teams that could easily win it all.
Okay. NC State needing to win the ACC tournament to get in 5 wins in 5 days. They were plus 6,000.
What?
To win this whole thing. Plus 6,000. So if you had a ticket on the Wolfpack, good on you. So as it stands right now, the ACC will have 3 teams into the NCAA tournament. The auto bid NC State, of course, North Carolina, and Duke. If I were to tell you that Duke and North Carolina were the 2 teams out of this conference aside, because I'm sure you're not picking NC State to get to the Final Four, who would you take? Either North Carolina or Duke to get to the Final Four from the ACC?
They played twice.
They did.
North Carolina won both games. I think it's Duke. I really like their guards, Proctor, Roach. Obviously, the team all funnels through, Kyle Filipowski, kicking the leg out and stuff. I think that was a bit of a distraction. Then he had the Wake Forest incident. But, North Carolina beat them head-to-head twice. I'm high on both these teams. I think North Carolina and Duke could easily make a Final Four. I wouldn't be surprised if either one of those teams won it. But North Carolina beat them fair and square. And the performance at North Carolina, when they went down to Duke and Cormac Ryan was making shots and they were spreading the floor, that was the best team in college basketball that night. Now, I think UConn's the best team overall in college basketball, but this team could easily win it all.
Do you know the last time the NCAA tournament was in Phoenix, Arizona? 2017?
Oh, really?
Yeah, you know who won that?
Who?
North Carolina. Be quite a story, right? I mean, especially when they were up 15 at halftime a couple years ago against Kansas and they blow it away. We're sitting there in a Roots Chris Steakhouse. We're like, this is over. We're having steak with Avery Johnson. This is over. What? Kansas? And then see what I'm saying? Like this would, if they came back with Hubert Davis, that would be an incredible comeback.
Well, especially last year, there was such a huge disappointment.
Yeah, didn't make it.
And then Caleb Love transfers.
Yep.
Arguably your best player, and now they come back. And I think that the chemistry is really good. This is another team. Look at their squad. Experience, chemistry, guys that have been around the block. To me, they have the recipe to win it all. That's why a team like Duke, experience, chemistry, guys that have been around the block. It's hard to find nowadays in college basketball. There's only a few teams that have it because of all the transfers.
3 teams into the NCAA tournament for sure. Probably some conversations about Virginia. We'll wait to find out about that on Selection Sunday.
Where's Jerry?
But NC State punching the auto bid from the ACC as they win the conference title after winning 5 games in 5 days. The madness is here. Don't miss a moment of the action on CBS, TBS, TNT, and True TV. Download the March Madness Live app to watch every game, anywhere, anytime live, and we will have you covered here on CBS Sports HQ.